Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest in the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to Apply. All right, so today my guest is Joey Laham, and he is the founder over at Good Morning Saudi Arabia. And this particular interview is part of our FII Institute series, where we're bringing together some of the top experts and individuals that attended FII, or one of the events. And this particular one is part of our Miami series. Joey, first off, just want to say welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Adam.
Wonderful.
Happy to be a guest here on Mission Matters.
So first thing first, Joey, FII Miami, this was a huge event. It was my first time attending. I understand you've been to multiple, so I'm newer to the community, but I'll tell you, I'm pretty hooked, man. I'm like, when I'm doing these interviews, I've gotten to dig deep with many of the attendees, some of the speakers, and just dignitaries, and it's just really been an amazing experience for me. For you, how did you originally get introduced to FII? Like, what's your story with it?
I initially was around a lot of the guys that were investing, capital venture funds and private equity guys that were investing in these big, bold, ambitious projects, that were taking place at Saudi. And so, coming from a Middle Eastern background myself, I was obviously intrigued by what was happening at Saudi, especially their projects, their giga projects, and really their bold, ambitious initiatives. You can go around the world. I don't think you'll find anything like it today as far as the scale and the magnitude. And so, having a platform like FII, I think you can't help it but to want to engage and be part of something that's really incredible and amazing. And I'm sure if you were there in Miami, you probably saw some of the amazing things that are happening. And so that's really what attracted me. And it's honestly attracting a lot of people from all over the world.
And looking at the demographic, one of the things that just kind of stuck out to me was like the decision makers, the people that are in the room, I couldn't miss on a conversation. I was like, wow, how much, you can't get a lot of these things done often.
It does not happen often. And the truth is, they really put on an amazing show, and it was really spectacular. And having, like you said, people of power and people of ambition there in the room, these are the change makers of the world. And to be in the same room, I'm sure you felt it. It was electrifying. And so it was a privilege and an honor to be part of it.
I want to spend some of the time we have here talking about your company, so good, and your show, Good Morning Saudi Arabia. Like, what's the vision behind this, and tell us where you're at.
So it all came down at wanting to create a platform, obviously, for news and media. So, our mission here at Good Morning Saudi Arabia, so we have this parent company called Arabian Broadcast, which is really the mother company of all Good Morning shows that we're going to be building around the region. One of them is Good Morning Saudi Arabia. And, there's a lot in the work, a lot of Good Morning cities coming on the platform, specifically the GCC region, cities like Dubai, Qatar, Oman, so on and so forth. So it's really this dynamic region that is intriguing to me. And so I wanted to create this platform to really redefine media as a futuristic, non-traditional platform for business empowerment through meaningful conversations, obviously, and innovative storytelling. We aim to deliver really actionable insights that inspire innovation, drive economic growth, and really just shape a more informed and connected future. And so that's what really inspired me. I just didn't want to have this traditional media, so I was looking to more of create something that's futuristic and non-traditional. And, obviously that requires a strategic blend of innovation, engagement, and a few other things. And so that's really what inspired me, and that's what we're building at Arabian Broadcast and all the Good Morning shows that are coming up.
Wow, that's amazing. And looking at now language-wise, is some of this going to be in content in English or not? Or I'm just trying to get a feel.
That is going to be completely in English. That is the dominating language. And so, yes. There's a lot of Arabic-speaking platforms that are out there, and especially in Saudi Arabia, and, you go to Dubai. We wanted to create something that's more, globalistic and futuristic, and with that, really, it's the predominant language of the world, and that is English.
And now, in terms of distribution, is it going to be targeting people in Saudi Arabia? Is it going to be targeting people in other countries? Obviously, with distribution in general, it's global and of a global nature. If you start a podcast, anybody can listen to it. That's a given. But what's your thoughts on the content and the distribution, the goal for it? Is it local? Is it
So
global?
obviously we're creating these cities in the GCC region and really in the Arabian Peninsula. And so it's going to be tailored to we're not going to do like one size fits all. You see what's happening in Saudi. It's not the same that is happening in Dubai, and it's not the same thing that is happening in Doha, Qatar. And so hence, which is why I wanted to create more of like a tailored fit. But at the end of the day, they're all going to come down to one umbrella. And as far as the distribution, like the news and the entertainment industries, it's facing a paradigm shift. Streaming skyrockets in popularity, right? And then the traditional media models are really like slowly fading away. And so in this evolving landscape, I think viewers are seeking content that is not only engaging, but also distinctively unique. And so I think we're going to leverage social media analytics, media companies, like we're going to adapt to the changing demands of audience. Obviously it's going to be mainly podcast and streaming. That is the goal, but we're going to be adapting to the ever-changing landscapes of audience demand. And, obviously with that, you've got to create compelling content and, we have to foster a vibrant community of creators and viewers. So there are many different things we're exploring, but to start, it's definitely going to be all podcast and streaming delivered.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and I get it, especially as you build those catalogs in those areas. I see it as just like, and especially the digital side of podcasts and things, I see it as just ripe for change, ripe for building a catalog, and especially if you do something evergreen, like that becomes super interesting, like long term.
Exactly. With all these catalogs, like you said, of countries that we're going to be engaging with, it just makes more sense, at least for the startup one. But obviously with AI and with the changing technology, we're going to be adapting to all of that. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Sure.
To say the least.
Yeah, I get it totally. And how about the news and stuff like that covering in that region? I'm a novice, by the way. So like me going to FII, well, not in the news business or in the industry. I mean, I've done over 6,000 interviews, and we have built a platform from scratch. But I mean, in terms of that, the covering news and things in those areas, I've just never really worked in Saudi or in some of those regions. It's kind of interesting to me. So like the distribution, like getting the stories, like I'm guessing, so I'm just asking, I'm guessing there's got to be a lot of demand for it, huh? Like there's got to be a lot of demand for the stories.
Yeah, I mean, yes, there's definitely a lot of demand, and especially in English format. There's a lot of coverage, like I said when we first started this call, in Arabic content. Obviously the entire region relies on Arabic. I'm fluent in Arabic, but when I come in as a fluent Arabic speaker with obviously, having arrived to the States at a very young age and being raised here in the U.S., there's definitely, a motivation for them to tell compelling conversations. And when I say conversations, they're not looking for interviews. They're looking for real, meaningful, deliverable conversations where they can actually share and relate to the world. And so when you come with that kind of angle and you're there to help them, bring whatever they have to offer to the world, and especially when it comes to projects like, the ones that are being built today in Saudi Arabia and in other countries and, larger scale projects, there's a lot of information to deliver on these projects. And, for these entities, for these leaders, for these, storytellers, they appreciate having someone on their side that's going to actually have a real relatable platform that's going to be global, that's going to, be streaming 24/7, and that's going to have the infrastructure to actually deliver to the entire world the story they have to say, and especially when it comes from a meaningful conversation, not just an interview. And so that's really the way. It's just that's the way we aim to deliver.
Yeah, I think it's a great story, and I love bringing this to my audience and talking about it kind of in the inception as you're getting everything going, because we're gonna look back at this one day. I'm gonna be like, come on, man, Joey, I remember we were talking about. Now look what you're doing, man. I'm so proud of you. I'm excited. I love it. I love media. I love seeing people build.
It's a building process. Yes,
yeah,
it is. It's a building process, but I've got the vision and I've definitely got the storytellers. And if you have both of these formulas and you've got the platform to deliver, it's a win-win. The recipe's there, and it's going to be a success.
Yeah. What are the next steps for you kind of in this rollout? Like what's next for you?
So we're obviously building the platforms slowly and surely. Some of these platforms are going to be appearing on the podcast, streaming on all the mediums, the traditional podcast mediums. We're obviously getting our offices set up. Our headquarters in New York is pretty much ready to go. All studios set up, with streaming broadcasts, whether it's interviews live in person for all these mega projects and industry leaders that are actually in New York visiting. And they do come a lot, especially from the region. I'm sure you're familiar, and especially at times when you have a major event like FII, and you saw all these industry guys, like that. You're talking about we're not just talking business. You're talking about government officials, people with top positions. They're there. And so you might as well have a platform for them to actually come in and have a nice, meaningful conversation and deliver, to the world, and especially to the region, the North American region. So I think having something like that for them, to be built. So we're having a sub studio also in Miami for future FII. If you were there, you heard about their Invest Savvy platforms that are going to be built in Miami. And so they're definitely going to be there. I think we have to be ready to offer them the platform. And so that's another exciting thing where we're going to build like these sub offices in Miami for them if they're ever in Miami. Obviously, New York is going to be our headquarters. And we are building, obviously, our regional headquarters, obviously in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia. And within Saudi Arabia, just to touch on that, we're actually opening up Good Morning cities, Good Morning Riyadh, Good Morning Red Sea, to just explore on all these big, ambitious Red Sea projects, because just that alone, you could have a medium just to have daily deliverables on a topic like the Red Sea, because what's happening there as far as infrastructure and tourism is mind-boggling. There's no country in the world that is dynamically growing in tourism and in ambitious, futuristic, touristic projects like Saudi Arabia today. And that is all taking place in the Red Sea region as we speak. And so for that, I need to be ready. And so we're setting up a Good Morning Red Sea, in conjunction with Good Morning Riyadh and Good Morning Jeddah. And, that'll all tie up to the Good Morning Saudi Arabia. So there's going to be these big country platforms with sub-platforms. And all of these sub-platforms will have these little offices that are going to be open and ready to shoot, to take content in, and to deliver to the world. So it's really exciting and really big.
Love it, Joey. Well, first off, it's been great having you on the show today. How do people learn more about your platform? How do they connect?
So our platform is going to be Good Morning Middle East, because that's where the region is. So the Good Morning Middle East platform is going to be the main medium deliverable platform. And obviously Arabian Broadcast is the mother company, but everything will be coming off and being subdivided of Good Morning Middle East. And once you're on there, you'll see all the cities on the website, goodmorningmiddleeast.com. A lot of it is being developed as we speak. I'm hoping that by the time you get this published, everything will be up and running, but it's just going to be in, I would say in a couple of weeks, at most a month or so, before all these platforms are up. So yes, goodmorningmiddleeast.com. And then you can, every individual podcast, meaning if you're listening at Good Morning Saudi Arabia, so that'll have goodmorningsaudiarabia.com. Good Morning Dubai will be goodmorningdxb.com. We're actually, just to go back real quick on the subcategories, in Dubai, we're launching two platforms, Good Morning DXB, which is going to be Dubai, and Good Morning RAK, which is Ras Al Khaimah. And that in itself is going through its own transformation today with the wind project that's taking place. So again, very exciting. And all of these platforms will connect to goodmorningmiddleeast.com for all of the viewers to explore and, obviously gain interest and go into any of these cities that we're going to be building these media platforms.
Perfect. For everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put some links in the show notes so that you can connect and check out what Joey's working on.
That's awesome.
And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show each and every day. We're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way in your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And Joey, thanks again for coming on the show.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Adam.